Alright, so I guess I should get my good buddy Integra DIY told me that I should document this a little bit. Sorry for the mess. Unfortunately, I do not have a nice big clean garage to do my swap in. As you may notice that the engine's gone. That is because I didn't really film the pulling of the engine. I've really pulled off everything there is. I've already installed my Hasport K4, K20, K24 engine mounts. For the Integra chassis, you reuse this one, you remove the old one, you put in this nice little bracket. For this one, you have to line it up with the torque mount bolts on the bottom. Once you line it up, you drill out, I think it was this one, I think it's this one had, or maybe it was this one. You bore it out to a little bit bigger than 3/8, let the bolt slide through. This one you have to mark and create a whole new bolt hole that will go straight down to the torque mount, which actually, here, let me get a little view. Here we have them sticking out. So the torque mount actually has bolts inside the chassis. And Hasport says to torque these bolts when you first install them to 10 foot-pounds because you have to thread it through that bolt. Don't do more than 10 foot-pounds, otherwise you're putting too much torque and it will pull the nut that way and break it. And then you have a nut stuck. So yeah, don't really tighten these too much. When I was putting these on, I had a little problem with this one because I could get the bolt in, but I couldn't get a socket in simply because it was touching here. So this I had to do. I went home and got a wrench because I didn't bring a wrench from work. It's a 17mm nut, so I just used a wrench to get it all the way down. These haven't been torqued to 10 foot-pounds because, well, I haven't brought my torque wrench home. So this one's probably going to be on the end of a wobble universal socket, because even then, maybe that'll work. But one big question I had to contact Hasport. Brian, if you're watching this, you are a boss. So for this one, the Hasport guide isn't really, it's a great guide. My problem is you get a bag of bolts and fucking heater core hole. Let me fuck this off out of the way. So they don't really say what you have to use. You can find the EGK3 one that says you have to use the factory bolts back here and use the one they provide. The EGK4 comes with all new bolts. So for these back ones, I'll take them out. They are, you'll find which ones fit. Then you have these little short ones. The instructions say to use a longer one. Now, didn't really have a picture of what the longer one looked like, so I just basically had to go through all the bolts to find one that fit, and it doesn't look like it fits, but it does. So let me just, it's a long threaded, so let's just work this out. Maybe I'll put a little quick time lapse, but it doesn't take this long. Not really. Of course, I didn't bring any more tool film, so yeah. Well, while we're digging it out, there's the old transmission mount that had to be removed. You have to drill out the spot welds and use a chisel to break them free. There's a little left over right there because I couldn't fit a grinder in. I don't have a die grinder. I do need to buy one for my next plan, but here is... Uh-oh! It's lost to the oily reaches of the subframe, which I need to replace. That's a question. Why am I putting on this mount if I'm replacing the subframe? Because of the beautiful work of the previous owner. It does need a new rack and pinion. But here is the bolt that goes in front. So we have the EGK4, don't know which bolt.
God fucking damn it, man!
Alright, so I dropped the bolt. Yay. So, yeah. Here's the difference of front bolts, back bolts. So if you don't know which bolt you're using, I haven't really found a video on YouTube yet that kind of showcases which bolt to use. I did watch Zosh's, shout out to Josh, but he really did a lot of speed, and all he did was, he just cut to this, having this in. He didn't really show the installation process. He did show the installation process of this mount here, so that is why I've also chosen not to film it, because there is plenty of other videos, and they all cover it very well. But, yeah. So this is the Integra that is going to be getting the K24. I've already stripped out everything here. I need to clean it. I need to remove all this. I am planning to retain my ABS, and that requires me shaving down. You can see that little thing right there where it's touching. That needs to be shaved down for clearance, so we can retain our ABS, because this is not a race car. This is going to be my daily driver, a spirited daily. And that is part of the challenge. A race car is easy because in California, you don't have guidelines. Well, you have racing guidelines, but you don't have carb guidelines. Well, okay, there she goes. You don't have the carb and BAR guidelines you have to follow to swap an engine, which I am doing it for the street, for just a daily driver, because it's a challenge and there's so few of them, simply because you have to have a K24 ECU, and to use a K24 ECU you have to use a K24 harness, and there is no conversion harness for a K24 ECU. You can get them for the K20. Every other state where you're a little bit looser in your engine change guidelines, you can use a K20 ECU conversion harness. Bada boom, your K-swap is even easier. But in California, it is a little bit tougher. I'm actually just going to leave this just like that. I'm going to tear up my fucking fingers. They're already torn up enough from work. Yay, mechanic life. But I definitely need to get a new rack and pinion. I need to look into the power steering lines for a K-swap, because I want to retain power steering. Again, is a daily driver. It's not a fucking race car, which is why I'm retaining ABS. We're going to have AC working as well. I might do something with these brake lines, make them a bit tucked, a little nicer against here, but I don't know just yet. But there's a little update on the project. Oh, we have all these bits and bobs back here. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to repaint this bay. This area needs a lot of love. This area underneath the brake master cylinder, however, is actually pretty good. No melted paint from brake fluid, so brake master cylinder, you're okay. Yeah. So when I paint, I gotta cover this up. I put the bolts in there so I don't lose them. This entire harness needs to go, since I am just going to be transplanting everything from a TSX. It's all going to go in here. Maybe not the engine harness. I need to find a K24 harness that will go in there, because TSX goes in here, and I have my HVAC stuff behind here. I am not cutting a hole to my HVAC stuff. No. So, yeah. Maybe an Accord harness. Maybe. I know a K20 harness might work too, so I could put the RSXs and that'll work fine. Might need to do some repinning. I gotta pull that one back too. And yeah, this thing is stripped. I've got parts everywhere. If you want an OEM exhaust for an Integra, there's this one. I'm not going to use it because yeah, that mating surface is too far forward. It's probably going to be further back, since the TSXs come straight down and bloop. So yeah, but we'll figure this out as we go. We just need to get the donor car finished first. Oh. place is a mess. Don't have a lot of room to work with. Do have a fucking horror freight engine hoist. Did the job for the B18. And a little pressure washer to clean out the bay a little bit more. And my handy dandy grinding wheel. I don't own a grinder. I bought it when I rented a grinder to clean up all the bits and bobs for that. But I guess we'll throw in like what we're going to do this. So my plan is with this, because you can see right there, that's the hole for the ABS module. But I think you can actually see if we can see it. You can see how it's touching the aluminum. I'm probably going to grind that down for clearance, because this isn't really a shock. It doesn't get a lot of shock, so I can get, maybe I'll just get rid of this one mounting bolt completely, and it can be held in by all the rest of them, and then it'll bolt up to the wall there, to here, to there. And I'm gonna take this bolt all the way out. We're gonna put that hole into that bolt, and that will be our new mounting point for the harness, for the bracket, because can't just get rid of the bracket. So yeah, that's probably how I'm going to retain ABS in this car. But we'll have to see. I have to get a die grinder. Going up and over, up and over. Yeah, this little notch right here. Right here. Yeah, I gotta get rid of that. But yeah, and I also need to find my 10mm. Does that work? Didn't bring it. Take off this. Get rid of this entire fucking headlight harness. Lots of electrical work is going to be required for the swap. It's not plug and play. Probably why people haven't done it that often, because people want plug and play, and yeah, people are lazy. Rack and pinion, gonna fuck right off. But once she's done, she's gonna be minty. And take her to the bar ref. Got a little sticker. I don't know if I'm gonna paint the hood. Might paint the hood. Actually, I need to cut out some of the substructure, more than likely, for the K24 head, because it is a tall engine, taller than a B18. But yeah, so I've been jabbering on for about fucking 10 minutes so far. So just gonna, you know, cut it here. Keep cleaning. Keep fucking removing some of this shit out of the way. Actually, no, I'll wait for I have my tools, but. Yeah, that's the beginning of the project. And if you want to see me put a K24 in an Integra in California, yeah, I guess I'll put more videos up. Bye.